Hey, Steelers Nation, gather around because today we need to really talk about what's going on in Pittsburgh. This isn't about small injuries or depth chart updates. This is about big things, the kind of stuff that shakes a franchise and forces everyone inside that locker room to look in the mirror. After another tough loss, Mike Tomlin stepped up to the microphone, and for once, he didn't dance around anything. He didn't sugarcoat the situation, didn't toss out cliches, didn't even flinch when pressed about changes. You could tell from his tone that the man knows this team has hit a wall, and that same wall isn't going anywhere until they decide to climb it. Tomlin said it straight. You can't fix anything until you face it. And that's what this week is about. Acknowledging the mess, owning it, and getting back to work. He said the fixes don't happen during press conferences or behind podiums. They happen on the field, in the stadium, under the lights, when it's loud and everything is on the line. And he's right. All the talking in the world won't change a thing unless the product on Sunday looks different. And you could feel that sense of urgency in his voice. He's been through this before, but this time felt different. Maybe it's the weight of expectations after a hot start that's now slipping away. Maybe it's because the Steelers have gone from a 4-1 record to an even 4-4, and fans are tired of the same pattern. That familiar slide right when it matters most. Whatever the case, Tomlin knows this isn't just another rough patch. This feels like a turning point. When asked about whether he might fire defensive coordinator Terrell Austin or take over play-calling duties himself, Tomlin shut that down quick. That's not on the table right now, he said. We've got to do what we do, only better. Now, that might sound like a standard coach answer, but anyone who's followed Tomlin for the past 20 years knows how rare it is for him to even entertain those kinds of questions with that much calm. Usually, that kind of talk gets brushed aside with a grin or a quip. Not this time. This time, he answered head-on, and that tells you something. It tells you he's feeling the heat, and maybe, just maybe, he's open to real change. And let's be honest, that's exactly what this team needs. Because right now, they're sitting at rock bottom, not in the standings, but in spirit. That loss to the Packers wasn't just another L on the schedule. It was an exposure. Every weakness, every lack of discipline, every blown coverage was on full display. And as if things couldn't get tougher, the Steelers now have to face the best team in football, the Indianapolis Colts, sitting at 7-1. Yeah, that's right. The number one team in the league. Not the best offense, not the best defense, just the best, period. And if the Steelers don't find their identity soon, this could get ugly. So, the question now is simple. If not now, when? How much lower do you need to go before something actually changes? Because this isn't just about stats or standings anymore. This is about pride. This is about a team that used to define toughness and resilience, now looking unsure of itself. You can see in the way they react after giving up a big play, the way the sidelines go quiet instead of fired up. It's not the same Steelers swagger we used to know, but there's a bit of hope on the horizon. Omar Khan, the general manager, wasted no time getting involved. He pulled the trigger on a trade with New England, bringing in safety Kyle Duggar, a player built to bring back some of that missing grit. He's tough, physical, and thrives in run support. He's not a superstar, but he's the kind of guy who plugs holes and forces effort out of everyone around him. That's what the defense needs right now. Someone who hits back, literally and figuratively. The message behind that trade was clear. If you're not getting it done, someone else will. Now, will Duggar start immediately? Maybe not, but his presence alone shakes things up. It puts pressure on those who've been coasting. When a new name comes in, especially one with a reputation for toughness, guys start looking over their shoulders. That's when real competition kicks in. And for this defense, competition might be the only way out of this rut. Tomlin also backed up veteran leader Cam Hayward's recent comments about the team lacking fight. That's not something you often hear from Hayward, one of the most respected voices in the locker room. He said the defense crumbled when adversity hit, and Tomlin agreed. That's huge, because if there's one thing this franchise has always prided itself on, it's resilience. To hear both your captain and your head coach admit that the team lost its edge, that's a wake-up call. You can tell Tomlin's done with excuses. He even made lineup changes mid-game, swapping Brandon Eccles in for Darius Slay late against Green Bay. When asked, he said Eccles deserved to play. That's not just a rotation decision. That's a message. Play better, or someone else will take your snaps. And that's exactly the kind of accountability fans have been begging for. It's been weeks since the defense forced a turnover, and the frustration is starting to show. No takeaways, no energy, no swagger. And for a team built on defense, that's unacceptable. The Steelers' entire identity has always been tied to forcing chaos, creating pressure, and capitalizing on mistakes. But lately, it feels like they're the ones making them. Still, beneath all the disappointment, there's a sense that something might finally give. Maybe it took hitting rock bottom for that to happen. Because for the first time in a long time, Tomlin's words didn't sound like coach speak. They sounded like a man acknowledging reality, that what they've been doing isn't good enough, that the standard isn't being met. And that's the kind of honesty that precedes change. It's not going to be easy, though. This upcoming stretch is brutal. After facing the Colts, they'll head to Los Angeles to take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers. That's back-to-back weeks against elite offenses, and if the defense doesn't find its rhythm fast, those games could get out of hand. But maybe that's what they need. Maybe getting punched in the mouth again is what finally forces them to wake up. Fans are frustrated, and who can blame them? The Steelers were supposed to be in the mix this year, not treading water in the middle of the AFC. They've got talent, real talent, but it hasn't clicked. And when you combine that with sloppy execution and questionable play calling, you get exactly what we've been seeing. Inconsistency, flashes of brilliance surrounded by stretches of confusion. Still, there's something brewing here. Between Tomlin's tone, Hayward's honesty, and Khan's willingness to make moves, it feels like the organization knows this isn't sustainable. You can sense that they're ready to shake things up, maybe even make the kind of bold adjustments we haven't seen in years. Whether that means lineup changes, scheme shifts, or giving younger players a shot, something's coming. And that, at least, gives fans a reason to stay tuned. Now let's dig into something that's been hanging over this team for a while, the draft. You can feel in the fan base every time a rookie struggles, every time a first-rounder doesn't turn into that instant impact star everyone hopes for. And it's fair to ask, are the Steelers drafting the right way? Are these young guys developing properly once they get into the building? Because when you look around the league, other teams seem to have rookies making plays week after week, while in Pittsburgh, things always feel a bit slower to come together. Let's start with the Omar Khan era, because that's the fairest way to judge what's happening now. Since he took over the front office alongside Andy Weidel and Mike Tomlin, there have been 3 draft classes, and while none of them are complete disasters, they also haven't produced that instant wow factor that defines championship rosters. In 2023, the team traded up to get Broderick Jones in the first round. At the time, everyone thought it was a bold, aggressive move. A franchise tackle to protect the quarterback for the next decade. That's what it was supposed to be. But here we are, and it's still unclear whether Jones is that guy. He's shown flashes, but inconsistency and technique issues have kept him from taking over the position the way a first-rounder should. Then, there's Joey Porter Jr., the son of a Pittsburgh legend, drafted with the first pick of the second round. Basically a first-rounder himself. Porter's had moments where you see that potential, the physicality, the confidence, the attitude that feels so Steelers-like. But there are also moments where he's getting beat deep or drawing flags because he can't quite control that aggression. That's the growing pain of a young corner. And while he's trending in the right direction, it's a reminder that the learning curve is real. Keanu Benton, Darnell Washington, Nick Herbig, that 2023 group had some promise, and you can see the front office went for power and attitude. Benton looked strong early on, but has taken a step back lately. Washington, for a third-round pick, has been solid in the run game, but underused as a receiver. Herbig might be the steal of that class, flying off the edge with energy every time he's given snaps. It's not a bad group, but it's not the kind of draft that changes your franchise overnight. Fast forward to 2024, and things start to feel a little brighter. Troy Fautanu, their first-round pick, came in ready to work. He's not flashy, but he's dependable, smart, and physical. That's a Steelers kind of player. But the real gem of that draft so far might be Zach Frazier, the second-round center who's brought back that old-school grit to the offensive line. You can see in the way he finishes blocks, how he communicates pre-snap. He's got that leadership vibe already. Roman Wilson and Peyton Wilson, the two third-rounders, have both shown real flashes. Roman's starting to find chemistry with the offense, and Peyton was basically the only defensive player who showed up against the Packers. Mason McCormick, a fourth-rounder, is already starting at right guard. That's impressive. That's the kind of pick that shows the scouts are doing their jobs. Then you look at this year, 2025. It's obviously too early to make any grand conclusions, but there are signs of optimism. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle, has been a quiet force up front, especially against the run. Caleb Johnson had that one disastrous special teams play, but one mistake shouldn't define him. The kid can play. Jack Sawyer, Y. Black, Will Howard, all names we'll probably be talking more about later. The point is, these classes don't scream failure. They're fine. The issue isn't talent acquisition, it's talent development. And that's where the real conversation needs to go. Once these players get into the building, are they being coached to reach their potential? Because you look at certain guys who are highly rated coming out of college, and they seem to plateau fast. They flash early, then fade. And that's not about bad scouting. That's about what happens after the draft. It's the culture, the schemes, the accountability. The Steelers have always prided themselves on being a developmental team, one that turns late rounders into stars. But lately, that magic touch seems to have dulled a bit. Tammy Mooney, one of the fans who wrote in, put it perfectly. When was the last time the Steelers had a truly successful draft pick that became a cornerstone of the team? Outside of TJ Watt, who's been everything you could ever want in a first-rounder, the list gets thin. You got solid players, but not many difference makers. From Artie Burns to Devin Bush to Najee Harris, there's a pattern of picks that just haven't hit that top-tier potential. Some of it's bad luck, some of it's misuse, and some of it might just be the game evolving faster than the team's approach. But here's the thing, it doesn't feel hopeless. Not at all. There's a new wave of leadership forming behind the scenes. Khan isn't afraid to make moves, whether it's trades, free agents, or restructuring deals to keep the cap flexible. He's aggressive but smart about it. And if this season continues to spiral, you can bet he'll be right there again, making bold adjustments instead of sitting still. That's what separates a good front office from a great one, the willingness to act before it's too late. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that could shake the AFC to its core, whispers from the NFL grapevine suggest that Josh Allen, one of the league's most electrifying quarterbacks, has reportedly completed medical exams in Pittsburgh and is poised to sign with the Steelers. Sources close to the team hint that the deal could be finalized any day now, sending shockwaves through fans and analysts alike. While neither the Steelers nor Allen's representatives have officially confirmed the agreement, the murmur on social media and inside NFL circles is growing louder with each passing hour. For weeks, speculation about Allen's next destination has dominated headlines, with rumors linking him to several franchises eager to inject new life into their offenses. Pittsburgh, a city with a storied football tradition and a loyal fan base, starving for a superstar signal caller, seems almost too perfect for the talented QB. Insiders suggest that the Steelers' management has been working quietly behind the scenes, negotiating a contract that could make Allen one of the highest-paid players in the league. If true, the deal would mark a dramatic pivot for Pittsburgh, signaling a win-now mentality after years of rebuilding. Fans have taken to online forums and fan pages, dissecting every snippet of information, from Allen's medical visit schedule to his potential fit in the Steelers' offensive scheme. Analysts are debating whether Allen's dynamic play style will mesh with Pittsburgh's traditionally tough, disciplined approach. Some predict a complete transformation of the team's identity, with Allen leading an aerial assault that could rival any squad in the league. Others caution that the transition might be rocky, pointing to the pressure of expectations and the adjustments required to thrive under a new system. Regardless of the outcome, the buzz surrounding Josh Allen and the Steelers has reignited excitement in a city long craving a headline-grabbing acquisition. The NFL rumor mill is alive, and the coming days could finally confirm whether this tantalizing story of a quarterback on the brink of joining Pittsburgh is fact or just another pulse-raising whisper. Either way, the Steelers faithful are on the edge of their seats, hoping this gamble might pay off in spectacular fashion. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.